I'm making supper tonight, and I thought I would include you guys because I haven't gotten live very often. I am making African peanut soup. If you have never had it, you need to try it. It is very, very easy, very delicious, and one of the best things about this recipe is it uses ingredients that you can find very easily at the food shop I was just at today. And growing up, I don't remember ever using a food shelf, but I know that we had a lot of help with government assistance programs. Thank you. Cheers, you guys. Oh, we got to the end of the day. It was a day. But I grew up with a lot of government help. And so one of the things that we had a lot of were the kinds of ingredients that I'm going to use in this recipe. Things like peanut butter. These giant containers of peanut butter were always in my house. We usually had white bread and peanut butter sandwiches. I hate to admit it, but we often had white bread, peanut butter, and sugar sandwiches. Ugh. I don't know why. No idea why. But that was a thing that we would have. And so I'm partnering up with the food shelf to help them create some recipes and some awareness of some different things you can make with this onion's kicking my butt, with the ingredients that you find at your local food shelf, because some of those ingredients can feel like a challenge. Okay, so this recipe, I'm gonna start with cutting an onion. If I can get this peel off of this onion, I'm telling you. There we go, there we go, there we go. Hey, Paul! One of your favorites is the African peanut soup, really? I love it too. It's one of my absolute favorite soups. It's so good. So I'm going to use a hot pot today so that I can do it live with you guys. I'm going to use just a standard soup pot. If you have a cast iron Dutch oven, that works best. And then I'm going to use olive oil because that's one of the easier things to find. However, I was just at the food shelf today and they had one bottle of olive oil. It's a hard thing for them to stock. So, oof, Nate, why is it smoky?
Hasn't been used? I don't know.
Because it hasn't been used?
In a while. This way. Keep it on.
Live show, guys. Let's just see.
It hasn't been used in a while. I'll get the fire extinguisher. We'll go for it.
Cheers, man.
Do you want the propane one?
No, I feel like propane is a even worse problem to have. But it's going down. Okay. All right. I'm using olive oil. I'm going to put about a tablespoon of olive oil in here. Peanut oil works really, really well, but it's harder to find. So I'm going to go with olive oil. But anyways, those of you local to Stillwater, they're out of olive oil. It's hard for them to keep. So we really need to bring over olive oil to Valley Outreach and get some of this on the shelves so they have access to it. Brenda, hi Brenda! Jana, it is so good. It really is one of our favorites. My husband's been asking for it for a long time, so he's very, very excited.
It is true.
What am I drinking? Nate, what am I drinking?
Juggernaut.
Juggernaut Cabaret. Cabaret.
It's Juggernaut Hillside Cab. Yeah,
I'm drinking a cab. I'm a cab girl. All right, so I'm going to chop this onion. We're going to put one onion in fairly fine because my son does not like onions, so I like to either have it really fine or I like to have it really big so he can pull it out. Either way, I'm very, very excited. Paul, you inspired me. I got new knives, and let me tell you, it has made my whole world. Well, I didn't get new knives. That's not true. My husband got them for me for my birthday, for Christmas. And it's been, now the only thing I need next is a new cutting board. This one's seeing better days. All right, so I have one onion, small onion, diced up fairly fine. I'm gonna pop it in here. And I'm gonna get that going. Brenda, what are you drinking? Jana, Hawaii. Oh, that looks like a great place to be. I wish I could be there. Brenda, you want a drink? Is that Stella Rosa? It is not. It is Juggernauts. Actually, I really, really like this, except that the only problem with this, I like this wine, but it's a huge bottle. So when I open it, it's a lot to drink, which of course, how is that ever a problem, right? Christy, hi Christy. Paulette, hi Paulette. Damita from Atlanta, Georgia, how are you? All right, so we've got one onion in there. And now I'm going to throw in a red pepper. My daughter is here and she's not happy about the fact that I'm putting a red pepper in. Do you know, I can hear myself on here, it's weird. Do you know that when I went to the food shelf today, one of the things that really surprised me is that they have a huge amount of produce. A lot of fresh produce. I remember growing up that they always had tons of canned vegetables, which that was normal. But they have red peppers. They have always have onions. They had a whole bunch of different veggies. That was really cool. Paul, you remember that? Like just the amount of interesting veggies that they had that I was surprised by. But one of the things food shelves always have, of course, is canned veggies. And the thing is that people have a hard time knowing what to do with canned veggies. So I would love to hear what you guys do with canned veggies. Besides, of course, just eat them. I use them in chowder. Karen, hi. We are cooking some African peanut soup. Have you ever had it before? I've got an onion and some olive oil over here, and I'm about to add a red pepper once I get the seeds out of here. I don't use red pepper very often because my daughter does not like peppers, so it's not a skill that I have, cleaning peppers. There's probably a much faster way of doing this than this, but it is what it is, right? One thing that I thought was really cool today when I was over at the food shelf was they were talking about how the people, when they go into the food shelf to get their food, that they're always worried that they're taking too much, that they want to be sure to leave more for other people. And so they have to convince them to take what they need. Isn't that incredible? I thought that was so incredible to hear that these are the people that need help, and they're more worried about everyone else getting what they need. Pretty cool. I thought that was pretty cool. Anyways, red pepper. I'm only going to put half this red pepper in because my daughter is here and she does not like red pepper. She surprised me, so I'm only going to put half of it in. And then from there, we are pretty much home free. The rest of this is going to be like jars of stuff. Paulette, they had lots of stuff. They did have lots of stuff. And you guys, Paulette followed along on my Instagram. I was showing kind of what they had over at the food shelf. A lot of the things I remember would be like your canned tuna, your canned chicken, all your veggies, huge amounts of dairy. We always had milk growing up. Did you guys see the box of cereal? As a child, that the name brand like kids cereal was like a super treat. And when I was there today, they had boxes of like mermaid cereal, and I thought, some little girl is going to be so excited to go in and see mermaid cereal. It totally made my day. Karen, you hate the taste of peppers. You never use them yet. Daughter's the same way. She hates them. I don't mind them. I don't love them, but I don't hate them. Hi, Cynthia. Cynthia? That's an interesting way of spelling your name. From Baltimore. Paulette, 10 veggies can be used to make a fast soup. They totally can. We just don't. Anyways, the challenge that I'm going to give myself to figure out some good recipes with canned vegetables. So if you guys know good recipes, send them my way because I want to develop a few for these people at the food shelf so they can have something tasty. Karen, how sweet. I know, right? Janet, hi from Cape Cod. Hi, Janet. We were in Cape Cod. Nate, how many years ago were we in Cape Cod? 3 years ago we were in Cape Cod for part of the summer, and it was so lovely. Where in Cape Cod do you live, Janet? All right, let me find my recipe here. See what we gotta do next. All right, so normally I would add garlic in here, but because I'm trying to do this in keeping with the food shelf, I'm actually going to use garlic powder. Garlic powder is a little easier to have on hand, and it is also a little bit more shelf friendly. I do have fresh garlic, but I'm going to go ahead and use garlic powder. I'm going to put in about a teaspoon. I don't measure very well. If you are not used to cooking, you should probably measure, but we'll just see what happens. All right. So now from here, this is really easy. All we need is a can of crushed tomatoes. These you can get at your food shelf very easily. They also have diced tomatoes. They usually have some sort of a tomato product, and any of them is going to work just fine for this soup. You don't need to have specifically crushed tomatoes. You do, however, have to have a can opener, which I can find. Paulette, when I was a kid, all there was government surplus food, but they had the best cheese. Yes, and they still have a lot of government surplus food. It's come a long way, but they still have like beef in juices and pork in juices and like, you know, some of those odd ingredients. So it's still a thing that they have. It's always a struggle to figure out what to do with that stuff. Janet, Marston's Mills Beet Sandwich? I don't know what that means. Is that where you're located, in Cape Cod? That's an interesting name. Paula, good thing to remember when donating stuff, spices and other basic things. Yes, one of the things they said they need the most of is actually condiments, like dressings and olive oil, because of course they get, so what's really cool is that they get so many donations from like your local grocery stores. When they kind of start to go off shelf life, they give them to the food shelf, and then the food shelf is able to, you know, give them away. So they get lots of lettuce, actually, and various forms of greens. But they don't get dressing. Now, of course, some of these people have a little bit of budget. They could go get dressing. But it would be really cool. It's really cool for them to get dressing, olive oil, that kind of stuff. Yeah. Anyways, I'm talking with my hands. All right, so we're going to add in our tomatoes, our pepper, and our salt. So I'm putting this whole jar of tomatoes in.
Remember to shove that in. We're watching this episode.
All right, so there is that. I'm making a mess. I'm a messy cook.
Yeah.
Hey, Nate. I just called you Nate. Yeah, you want people to be able to cook well. Well, yeah, not just cook well, but also to, you know, eat nutritiously. So growing up, I didn't have. Growing up, I ate a lot of the same foods that you get at a food shelf. There's a lot of peanut butter and white breads. I'm putting about a teaspoon of salt in here. A lot of Kool-Aid, tuna fish. Nothing wrong with tuna fish, but we didn't eat very nutritiously. Partly because my mom didn't cook. She was a very bad cooker. She was a very bad cook. She's also still a very bad cook, but so she didn't really even know how to cook with like rice and potatoes and pasta all that much. But also, you know, that long ago, 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, food shelves were different. Like, we were just barely able to get our hands on, you know, some of the stuff. And now we're understanding how important it is for there to be some nutrition involved, particularly for the kids. I didn't have nutrition. So anyways, so it's important to me personally that these kids get some nutrition. That's why I'm going to make some recipes and show how you can use some of these ingredients. All right, so here we go. We got our salt, pepper, canned tomatoes. We've got our red peppers, and we've got our onion in there. I'm going to add some crushed red pepper because I have it. It's not something you're going to find at a food shelf. Red pepper is not at a food shelf. Isn't that interesting? No, that you're not going to find stuff like this. So something to think about when you go and donate is, what do you like to use from your spices? They're always looking for spices. All right, so this is boiling here pretty good, and I'm going to let this sit here and simmer for about seven minutes. Alexa, set a timer for 7 minutes.
7 minutes, starting now.
I love her. She's so great. Demita, so onions, red peppers, peanut butter, and salt. So this is going to be, yes, although we don't have our peanut butter in here yet, we have our tomatoes in here. So we've got onions, red pepper, black pepper, salt, and then we have a can of crushed tomatoes, a big can of crushed tomatoes. And then we are going to put in peanut butter and milk. And that'll be the end of it. Legit the end of it. There will be nothing else to do. When I serve this, I like to serve this with either yogurt or sour cream, crushed peanuts on top, and then green onions usually. And I'm going to get working on that stuff. But it's really simple. It's nutritious. Peanut butter was really cool as a food shelf. If you've never worked with a food shelf before, lucky enough to never have used one before, they have like so many number of items that you can have within categories. So like you can get this much dairy, this much fruit, this much veggies, and you have an item quantity. Peanut butter is considered its own category. So you get depending on how large your family is. Our family, of course, there's 10 of us, 10 kids. So we got lots of things. But you can get 1 or 2 of these depending on the size. Usually, of course, you're going to use it in a peanut butter jelly sandwich, but this is a great way to use it. So yeah. So, okay, I'm going to cut up some green onions and Leva, you didn't shut the fridge all the way. Let's see what I got. I saved some herbs from before, some parsley. Parsley. What else do I got? I'm right here, guys. I thought I had some green onions. I did. Green onions. I'm gonna rinse these off because they don't look so good. Wait, stop. Cheers. All right. These need to be rinsed. Give this a stir. So right behind you guys, I don't know if you're following me on Instagram stories, you guys know that I am painting a chair. Did you know you can paint chair with chalk paint? Not chalkboard paint, chalk paint. And right behind you, I'm painting a chair right now. So I'm excited to see how that turns out. We'll see how that works. I've had to get more paint today. It's just eaten more paint than I expected, but oh well. Okay, I should make up some rice, shouldn't I? I like to serve this over rice, but I don't always get around to making it. Usually I keep, oh, you guys know the minute rice or oh my gosh, the stuff in the bags is by far my favorite. So, you know, where you just pop it in the microwave and 90 seconds later you have rice. It's amazing. Love it. But I was going to do it the old-fashioned way and make proper rice. You guys, these green onions are not particularly great looking. That's why you see me cutting so much of them off. So if you are yelling at me right now because I'm wasting, it's because these are not very pretty. They're kind of slimy, so I'm cutting the slimy parts off. You can't feel it, but trust me, it's slimy. Nobody wants to eat slimy green onions. I hate cutting things in front of you guys. All I can think about is my lack of knife skills. It makes me self-conscious. I don't know what that's about. Almost started that on fire. Hi, Newton. How are you? Huh? Okay, green onions. All right, here we go. You're following the chair painting, Paulette. You have a small, I don't know what a burger, is that how it's pronounced? Burger chair you'd like to try it on. So the main thing with the chalk painting the chair is you have to, like, I've done it before, but if you don't do it well, it gets crunchy. It feels kind of like outdoor fabric. And you have to make sure to sand really well in between. Like you can actually feel it, and I'll show you on Instagram. But you can feel where it's got too thick of paint, and you have to sand that down. And then you have to make sure you apply lots of layers of wax at the very end, otherwise it gets crunchy. So, anyways, yeah. All right. How much peanut butter are we going to be using? 1.5 cups of peanut butter. That's a lot of peanut butter. That's one thing that's really interesting to me about food shelves. It has been like that forever, is how easy it is to get peanut butter. But peanut butter at the store for like you and I is actually quite expensive. It's really interesting to me that it's a easy access thing for them, hard for us. So tell me what you grew up with as a child eating. My husband, his mom cooked everything, made everything, lots of potatoes and fish. So for him, processed food was like a big deal. For me, I grew up on processed food. I mean, like, homemade meals were like a big deal. My mom would make homemade meals, but they were made out of processed food, if that makes any sense. Going to my grandma's where she would make like proper holiday meals was a big deal. Grew up on lots of Kool-Aid. Like seriously, my mom would have a loaf pan and line them up, and we would make 1, 2, 3, 4 of those every single day. That cannot be good for you, can it? It is what it was. What it was. Kool-Aid was the thing back then. Okay, so we've got you've just joined us. We're making African peanut soup for supper tonight, and I've got tomatoes, red peppers, onion in here. Alexa, stop. And now I'm going to add in 1.5 cups of peanut butter. I'm going to guess, but you can measure if you want to. I don't think it's a serious thing if you get a little more or a little less in there. It is what it is. I'm going to go with that. Call that good. Put my big old giant vat of peanut butter away. We use peanut butter a lot for our dogs. Actually, that is the peanut butter we often use for our dogs. We technically use natural peanut butter, but you can't get natural peanut butter at a food shop. Actually, one thing that was really interesting to me and kind of sad, I totally get it, but it was kind of sad, is that almond milk, cashew milk, all of the alternative milks are not easily accessible at the food shelf. Because obviously they're trying to feed as many people as they possibly can. And so like they want to keep the cost way down and buy as much bulk as they can. But like for me, I'm completely dairy free and my son's dairy free. So I feel kind of bad because like that's kind of rough for people who have some dietary problems. Hopefully though, going to the food shelf, the idea would be that you get so many other things paid for and so much help that your budget can kind of offset a little bit. But Grandma Judy, I've heard this African peanut soup is excellent. I wonder who you've heard that from. It's excellent. And it's really easy. So I'm just going to stir this peanut butter in until it kind of melts in. And then I'm going to put in the dairy product. Now, I'm going to use cashew milk or almond milk because, again, I'm dairy free and I have the ability to pay for that. At the food shelf, there's usually vats and vats and huge amounts of dairy. Milk is easily accessible. So they're going to use standard dairy milk. And that's what we'll include in this recipe. But like I said, I'm lucky enough to be able to afford non-dairy alternatives. So I'm going to use a non-dairy alternative for mine. Something that you can do with this recipe is you could add in like ground pork. You could add in some other kinds of like veggies in here. You could add in some soy sauce if you wanted to make it a little like Thai kind of flavor. I think that would be good. Okay, I'm getting some milk over here. I'm going to use almond milk and cashew milk. I hope you guys are not staring. Hope you're not staring at my butt. Can you even see me? Are you scared? Were you guys staring at my butt? Let's be real. I know you were. That's okay. It's a good one. It's a good one. Okay, so I'm using cashew milk. I prefer cashew milk with this because obviously the nuttiness matches the peanut soup. And I'm going to use 1.5 cups. No, not. I'm going to use 4 cups. You can use less if you want to. Depends on how thick you like your soup to be. And again, if you were, a food shelf, having to get your ingredients from a food shelf, this is a lot of expensive alternative milk, so that's why they don't do that. I get it. Just kind of sad. Paulette, we kind of had both homemade and processed food. You had a gas station, and my mom had to fix meals on a hot plate when we were there. Yeah. So rice-a-roni and hamburger patties and canned veggies type of stuff. At home, Mom was a great cook. Yeah, so we had a gas station. You had your family had managed a gas station for like a business. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. In its own bizarre kind of way. All right. This now is going to come up to a heat. It's going to come up to a low boil, and then it's done. I'm going to pour it into some bowls. Like I said, I should have made some rice. I think I'm all out of my packages of prepared rice. Like, seriously, you guys, do not feel bad at all for using the packaged pre-made rice that you pop in the microwave, because it's easy as heck. Trader Joe's has prepared rice that they froze in the freezer section. No, they have frozen rice in the frozen section. That's really good. Sometimes if I get my act together, I'll make a batch of rice and I'll freeze it. But today is not one of those days. You owned gas stations. Oh, that's super cool. I think that's awesome. Alexa, set a timer for 7 minutes. All right, I'm gonna let this come to heat.
7 minutes, starting now.
Hi, Prince. And what am I making? I am making African peanut soup. Is it healthy? Yes, it is healthy. Of course, it depends on your diet. It has cashew milk, peanut butter, diced tomatoes, red pepper, onion. Am I missing anything, you guys? Salt, pepper, and red pepper, like flakes. And then I'm going to taste it pretty soon and make sure we get enough salt and pepper in there. And that's it. And I'm going to serve it with some green onions and some sour cream on top, some crushed peanuts probably. Usually I'd serve it over rice, but I didn't have my act together enough to make rice today. So it's going to be what it is. Yeah. One of those days. Anybody else in the northern part of the country and you're just dragging? Like this winter thing is, what did I hear? Nate, how many days did they tell us that we had sun in January? Hang on a second.
What was that?
Rice is so easy to make. I know.
What was the question?
How many days did they say that we had sun in January? Like we had the
most
cloud cover ever.
In January, it was like
How many days in a row?
it, like
It was
2 or
like-
4. I don't know. It wasn't.
It was
many
like
at all.
24 days of clouds, and like it was a
horrible.
ridiculous number of cloud cover that we had in January, and I think everybody's like got a
It was
taste
the
of
least
the
amount of sun since 1960. I think.
least amount of sun since 1960. Like seriously, who lives here? Why do we live here sometimes? Because it's gorgeous in the summertime. Sue, you loved the soup? It's good. And I haven't made it. Nate's been asking for it for a while, so I finally was like, all right, I'm gonna make it. And I'm gonna do it live. I'm gonna do more of these live when I'm already making supper, because I'm already making supper. Might as well pour up a glass and make it with you guys, right? I'm cutting up some red pepper for my husband. He loves red pepper. So I'm gonna add a little bit more fresh red pepper in his bowl. Because I'm a nice wife. That's what nice wives do, apparently. So I don't know if you guys know. Wait a second. How many of you guys want to see Nate? Nate! So many of you have been following along with Nate's story. He got very, very sick last year. 2 weeks ago, he started a new job, and he loves it. So he's a maintenance guy for an apartment complex. And he goes and he just is a handyman all day. And if you guys know anything, you know that he's a handyman here. So he does DIY stuff for me that we do for like Home Depot and big companies. So he is doing that now, and he loves it. So he's been gone all day, every day. But it's been really good. Let's see, Prince, can I get the recipe for it, please? Yes, the recipe's on my site, and I'll hook it up here. That'll be going out. Paula, if you like the sun, don't live in Washington in the fall, winter, and spring. So like Only the summer is in Washington. You know, the funny thing is we went out to Seattle many years ago, but we were there for a trip, for like a 10-day trip. And we had sunshine the entire trip, 10 days. And it didn't dawn on us until we came home that that is very out of the ordinary. But it was, yeah. I don't know if I believe you guys about this rain situation because we didn't have a lot of rain. It was pure sunshine. Okay, so I'm just waiting for this to come to heat. It's almost there, and then we're pretty much done. I'm gonna taste it right now and see if it's how it is. Needs more salt. So if you guys are making food and how do you know when you need more salt? I think that's one of the things that home cooks can sometimes feel uncomfortable with is when to put in salt and when to not put in salt. And so I would love to know if anybody has like a rule of thumb or a tip that they use. For me, if you're making soup, particularly soup, and you're like, this is good, but it's like kind of flat, like how do you call flat a recipe flat? If you can't like taste the ingredients and it doesn't like sit on your tongue and just feel kind of poppy. It's such a weird way of explaining it. Add a little bit more salt. The tricky thing, of course, is you can go too far. So you always add a little bit at a time, just until you feel like I don't know, until the flavors pop. I don't know how you explain that. Stand still for 5 seconds and moss grows on you. In Washington? Oh, I bet. But again, I told you, 10 days we were there and it never happened to me. So I don't know if I believe you. So tomorrow, what do we got going on tomorrow? Oh, it's Valentine's Day. And you guys, my son, and those of you guys that don't know, I have a 17-year-old son, and he is a drummer in a rock band, a high school rock band. And they are doing what is called Battle of the Bands tomorrow night. And it is like this big competition where they earn money and they play for 15 minutes and try to beat other bands. And so I'm actually really excited. I'm hoping maybe to do a live from there if you guys are interested. I'm probably more interested because I'm the mom, but it's pretty cool. So he is going to be, he's a drummer, and so they're playing for 15 minutes, a bunch of cover songs. So that's tomorrow, and I'm really excited about that. Crushed red pepper is what made it pop for me. Yes, so this recipe has crushed red pepper in it. Okay, you know what? I'm only getting another spoon because you guys are watching. The reality of it is, I think Emily's the only one eating this. I would totally put that spoon back in. I'm just being honest. Just telling you the way it is. That salt totally helped. All right, red pepper. I'm gonna add more red pepper. Where did I put the red pepper? There it is. I might add a little more peanut butter. This is really easy. Just sit there and tweak it the way you like it. It doesn't matter because you're the one eating it. Does not matter at all. Alexa, stop. It's not coming to heat yet. I haven't used a hot plate. That's what it's called, I think, is a hot plate. I haven't really used it, so I'm a little worried about, what the temperature is on it. I don't know. In the meantime, I'll just drink more wine. Oh, and then the other thing we did today, I'm working with our Humane Society, and we made puppy treats. So this is shredded chicken, flour, and egg, all ground up in the food processor and then baked up for little training treats. And so the Humane Society goes on TV and they bring a bunch of puppies, and they want me to go show how to make treats. But my dogs, oh my goodness, did they love those. They thought they were amazing. And of course, they were in the kitchen the entire time I was making them. And every time I was doing the video, they were right there. More than happy to help test those. So it worked out very well. Today it was negative like 3 with I don't know what the wind chill was, probably like negative 20 or something. I don't know. I had to go to Target to get dog food, which I still have not done because it was so cold that I did not want to run into the store just for dog food. So I'm gonna have to send my husband later tonight to go get dog food. Even though I was totally out and about, I'm right by Target. I could not bring myself to get out of the store and go outside one more time. It was so cold, you guys. Oh. Some of those cheap peanut butters have quite a bit of sugar, so that requires more seasoning. Yes. Again, we usually use natural peanut butter when we make this recipe, for those of you that have access to it. But like I said, I wanted to make this like for a food shelf. And that stuff, let me look at this real quick. Yeah, this one, peanuts and sugar are your top 2 ingredients. Whereas if you were to use a natural one that we normally would use, so we would normally use this guy. This one is organic peanuts and sea salt. So that is quite a big difference. So with this one, whatever, the other one, you have to add in more of that spiciness because it's too sweet. But that's easy to do. And you can, you could always add in like jalapenos or something like that in here. That would be another good addition too. Paulette, some of those cheap peanut butters, oh yeah, we just talked about that. But it was beautifully sunny. It was beautifully sunny. It tricks you. And you think, oh, I'm going to go outside today. And then you step outside and your entire lungs and your boogers freeze. It's not cool at all. At all. Where's that right there? Super good. It's super good, you guys. It's just creamy, peanut buttery, just a little bit of spice, warm. It's just nice. And like I said, you can totally add in more red pepper or whatever. Put it on rice, put it on potatoes, serve it straight up. That's like my family. We actually have a baguette over here. I'll probably slice up some bread. My husband has been doing such a good job of loading the dishwasher every single morning. And so like the dishwasher, which I'm pretty sure is dirty right now, which in my house never happens. It's usually always like clean, and then everybody puts their dirty dishes in the sink, and then there's a pile up. But it's not like that lately. So I'm really pleased with that. All right, this is going to be pretty much done. Let me scoop up a bowl full so you guys can see what it looks like. And I got new bowls from Target. I think we talked about how I'm terrible at getting like proper dishes. I just have not spent the money on. We have dishes that are all marked up, terrible looking. For some reason, I just cannot bring myself. Do you see this? So there we go. I don't know if you guys can see that. I can't tell what you can see and what you can't see. There we go. So that's what that looks like. And then I'll just put some sour cream and some onions and red pepper on top. And it's a really simple thing to do. Obviously, if I wasn't talking to you guys, it'd go much faster. But what fun would that be? So I'm going to get my family over and we're going to have some supper. And you guys all have a wonderful night. And I will see you the next time around. And go donate to your local food shop, by the way.